Hilarious.
Uh-huh.
There'll be like a guy, husband and wife in bed, and he'll be like, "Go play it," and
Uh-huh.
look at her while she's swiping, and she's like,
No way.
"Look I do it to Anne. She cracks up. At least she laughs at herself. If she didn't, we'd have a problem.
Yeah,
Hello.
exactly. Okay, it's recording. You guys are good.
So they can edit it, right?
Yep.
Cool. You're too casual. I know you're up there in the great north, bro, but we gotta set ourselves aside.
I got
All
a
right.
collared shirt on. See?
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna interview you. I'm not. I'm gonna bring up. We're gonna work on the perfect work week. I'm gonna fill out this form while we're doing it. I'm gonna ask you questions. We're gonna role play, or not role play. We're gonna bounce around what the perfect work week is. I'll probably disagree with you about stuff and override you a little bit. Don't get your feelings hurt. I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna bring up that you're distracted at home and what you're doing to overcome it and stay focused because we're all distracted at home. I'm not gonna tell them what's it about. Outside of work is what I'll say.
Okay. Just follow your lead.
Cool. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, it's Jim Reed with Next Level Coaching, and today I get to interview for our podcast. You know, we do 2 of these a month. We send them out to all the Next Level Coaching students, and really the reason I do this, guys, is you become what you think about most. So you listen to other loan officers, what they're doing to get business, what their struggles are, how they're overcoming it, give you some sales tactics, um, and maybe cover a form once in a while. But the idea is, hey, listen, if you're driving in the car, listen to it. If you're walking on the treadmill, listen to them. And what I'm hoping is that the students can find somebody, one of the coaches that they can relate to so they can grow faster because that's how I did it. I listened to these recordings in the core and I would hear coaches and some of them I could really relate to and their style and how they handled clients and it helped me to grow my skills. So today I'm super happy to give Adam Noone a big welcome. What's happening, Adam?
Hey, Jim. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for having me do this podcast. This is fun.
Adam's one of those big guys. I'm like, dude, you got a big advantage. People feel comfortable and protected around you. Big old guy, take care of my mortgage, make sure I don't get hurt. It's a good advantage. Everybody has a niche. That's your niche. So I want to start off by just having you give us a little of your history. Now, don't go too long. I don't want from the first grade. You know what I'm trying to say? But I want to know how'd you get into the mortgage business? How long you've been in it, and maybe how you started and how you grew in the mortgage business.
Yeah. So this is my 6th year in the mortgage business now. And it started actually when I got my first home loan, probably about 7 years ago or so. I was in my mid 20s and I was buying my first house. And at the time, I was in the auto business. And the guy that I was getting my loan from said, "Hey, you'd be a really good loan officer." I thought, well, you're a banker, man. I think I'm making more in the car business than you are in mortgage lending. And we kind of, I
You were
said, well,
wrong.
I was very wrong. Yes, he showed me his W-2, and I said, well, maybe I should consider being a mortgage lender. So that was kind of the beginning of it. And then I took a gamble and decided to take a jump, passed my mortgage test, and wound up leaving. And then the rest is history. I got in, and I just fell in love with it.
I remember one day I got this phone call from you. I didn't know you. It was when I was a coach at the core, and like you're like, I think you came down for a site visit or something, or you. I think you might have just come down by yourself. I don't remember. Did you
Yeah,
just
I
come down
was.
by yourself?
I did. So I was. So can I share the story? Is this
Yeah.
okay? All right. So
I don't really remember it, so hopefully you don't embarrass me. But go ahead.
it's all good. So I get into this is my favorite story to share. We do this at every time Jim and I coach a class together. But I got into the mortgage business, and right away I knew I needed some coaching around this. So I just started Googling and YouTubing, mortgage coaching and stuff. And I stumbled across a video of yours, and you were talking about the greatness tracker. And I just remember you saying at the time you were filling out the greatness tracker. I think it was a summit event, and
Mm.
you were going an LO retreat, and you were like, "Hey, you guys, listen, I do this much production. I've been running it this big for this many years. Does anybody do more than me?" Nobody raised their hand. He goes, "Good, then you do it my way. And then one day when you do more than me, I'll do it your way." And I remember listening to that and going, maybe I should just do it this guy's way because I'm definitely not doing his numbers. And so after that, I started listening to everything I could of yours and mimicking a lot of stuff that you were doing and using my own putting it into action and I was getting results out of it. So when the opportunity came for me to consider coming to Summit, I was coming down for a red carpet to meet Todd and the team. And I remember telling the lady who was setting everything up at the time, I said, I'm going to come to Sacramento. That's fine. I'll do the red carpet, but I have a condition. And she said, what's the condition? I said, I want to meet and have lunch with Jim Reed. It was a big thing for me. You were like a hero of mine at the time. And now I'm just so honored to be coached by you every week.
Oh, wow. You're good at the butt kissing. That's very good.
This is a true story, man.
Like
true
that.
Story.
Yeah. I should have took you on as a satellite branch back then.
Well, that would have been fun.
That would have been fun. You probably wouldn't have liked it. You probably wouldn't have liked me as much after that. I'm kind of demanding.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, but my point in having you share that story, honestly, is guys, what I don't see enough of right now, is that pursuing knowledge, pursuing a coach that you're connected with, spending a little money and flying out and spending a day or two with a coach or someone in our company that's doing loans at a high level that you want to be like, and being a sponge and asking lots of questions. I remember our meeting and I was thinking, he wants to skip steps. Mm-hmm. That's what I remember thinking when I met with you. I don't think I shared it with you. I might have. I usually do share what's in my mind, but I remember thinking, man, this guy wants to skip steps. And you have tried to skip some steps, and you've gone forward and backward and forward and backward. What have you learned about that? I mean, that's kind of a curveball. It just came to my head, but I see that a lot right now, Adam, because, we were doing this many loans and now we're doing less than half. As a whole, each individual loan rep is doing less than half. Now, some aren't. They're doing the same or more. But for the most part, lots are doing half or less. And so I see them now because money's harder to find. The saying I've adopted is they're looking for money in all the wrong places. Mm-hmm. They're looking for money in all the wrong places. And one of those is skipping steps. So, share some of your experiences with that.
Yeah, well, I always joke that I'm the king of making mistakes so that other people can learn from me and not make their own, Yeah. Me too. I make one mistake after another most days, man. I think that the skipping steps part is huge for me. I've tried to skip so many steps and I think what I've learned from that is that no matter how many times I think that I can cheat the system or get around things or reinvent the wheel, or, well, if I just did this instead of this, what I always find that everything comes back down to when it doesn't work is the greatness tracker. It just comes down to making my calls and seeing people face to face, shaking a lot of hands and kissing a lot of babies. And it's like, when I attempt to skip steps and when I've attempted to do that in the past, even now, I mean, I'm thinking of things in my head that I'm even doing right now that seem like they're trying to skip steps because everybody's nervous. I'm nervous. Everybody is. I think the thing that brings me comfort, though, is that there's also a very clear strategy to win in this market, a very clear way to do it. It's just simple, but it's not sexy. It's just simple. It
also ain't easy.
It's not easy.
Simple and easy are not the same thing.
Yeah.
Our plan is simple. The greatness tracker is a great tool. It is a frustrating tool. And it is like a journey for me. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'm really good at it and I get in a rhythm and I'm really good. And sometimes I stumble a little bit and I get bored or tired I got a bunch of excuses. Just that I can keep going. I got more excuses than I care to share. But I was going to do time blocking on this call with you, but I think it's leading to greatness tracker. So I want to cover that. Is that cool with you?
It works for me. That'd be great.
I want to go box by box and just share. I want to just kind of teach people how to fill it out again. And then we'll work on some tactics that we use to fill it out accurately and to fill it up. How's that sound?
It works. Sounds good.
So on the top box, I don't have one in front of me, but I know it by heart. So hopefully I don't mess anything up. The top box is face-to-faces. So what's the definition of a face-to-face for you?
Well, to me, a face-to-face is any time that I get face-to-face with somebody. I see their face and I can read their body language and have a conversation with them. This would be considering bumping into somebody and chatting it up for a while at a store for me, building a relationship, I would say that it's a client consultation where we sit down and go through numbers. It's an opportunity to pop by an office and sit and have a little bit deeper conversation than just, hey, how you doing? I'm leaving you a goodie bag and I'm out, but actually having a deeper conversation. It's not quite to the extent of a break bread, which I know you're going to get into in a second. But to me, a face-to-face is, did I have any kind of substantial quality out of my conversation with this person?
Yeah, and for me, if I would take that and add, as long as it's about business.
Right. Yes.
And I always say, hey, relationship leads to business. So I want those face to faces to be relational, but they are about business. So you talked about a lot of stuff. So to summarize it, if I look at the lead tracker and I look at the definitions of the acronyms at the bottom, right? Current client referrals, past client referrals, past clients, realtors, advertising, builders, business, personal friends, all of those acronyms count as a face-to-face. Like if you were to meet any of those people, it would be a face-to-face. And like when I think about what you just said, it makes me frustrated. Because people are like, I can't get 15 face-to-faces in a week. And you just came over this broad definition. And it's like, how could you not? There's only one way, dude. They're not working 45 hours, 50 hours a week. They're not.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. Or they consider work sitting at their chair at their office and searching around on social media or thinking about what to post or God knows what. But that don't work. But I do know that the harder I work at the greatness tracker, the luckier I get. You know what's weird to me? I'll have like a plan for face-to-faces and I'll go like a milk route and stop by offices. And I'll be going to these offices expecting to get business from those offices. And then I'll stop by somewhere on the way home and run into a realtor I ain't run into in forever and get business from them. It's the weirdest thing.
Because your
You got to be out and be active, right? But another couple of things I want to clarify, like if you have a borrower and you meet them for pre-approval and then they buy a house the next day and you meet them again on Thursday to go over the contract in person, do both of those count in 1 week?
Yeah, I would.
Hell yeah.
Because
do you have a better chance of not getting shopped if you meet them twice?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Deeper rapport.
Sure you do.
Yep.
Like at the loan officer retreat, people got like, a couple people made comments. They're like, dude, you got kind of angry on stage. I'm all, I got angry when I reminded people to stop doing business by the phone. It don't work no more. It worked when there were too many loans and not enough loan officers. Too many loans, not enough loan officers. It worked fine. Now there are too many loan officers and not enough loans. I did a loan for my girlfriend, got her pre-approved to buy a house. And we ran her credit. And we didn't take out her cell phone number when we ran the credit. We ran her credit in the morning and she called me at lunchtime and chewed me out. She chewed me out.
Oh, yeah.
She loves me.
Yeah.
She had 13 calls from 13 different lenders or called her. And she said one guy called her 7 times.
Oh.
So she thought I sold her information. And it just, the reason I tell you that story is number one, if you're listening to this and you're not taking out their email and their social, can you please take it out before you run credit? Stop being a knucklehead and really do that because it really does happen. They don't all complain about it, but it happens.
Oh, constantly.
Constantly. But that's just a sign of the times. People buy, it's called a trigger lead. Lenders buy trigger leads when they are desperate. And so they call people who ran mortgage credit report and try to undercut you. And then what I had said 3 months ago when it started, maybe 4 months ago now, is it will only last so long and then all those people will be out of business. And we're starting to see that. The greatness tracker is the solution. So face-to-face is the first category. And then we want 5 break breads, right? So right now, when we're really busy, I'll let you count 5 of the break breads as face-to-faces. But when we don't got enough business, those got to be separate. So it's got to be a total of 20 face-to-faces. People say, oh, well, it changes all the time. I'm all, you're right. It does. And so does the business. And so
Yeah.
does the industry, and so does the world, and so does the economy. Yeah, it does change. You're right.
Yep.
Congratulations. Thanks for noticing.
You have to.
Yeah. So for break breads, what's your definition?
Well, my definition for a break bread is, well, listen, I'm going to go old school. Jim Reed one time was
Oh my
saying,
God.
this is old school. This might have been in that audio I listened to. I remember you were talking about you guys overcomplicate the greatness trackers, what you kept saying. You said, next time, if you're trying to get more break breads and you got a bunch of client meetings, bring a cookie and break it with them. I remember you saying that. So I think
I do that. I have someone bring in warm cookies during the consultation. They don't ask them if they want them. They just bring them and set them down.
Oh yeah. Who could turn down a warm cookie, man?
Well, dude, if you break if you eat together, it's a deeper bond.
Absolutely.
So if we're talking financing, and I eat one of the cookies. If you're going to copy that tactic, you have to grab one of the cookies and take a bite. You have to, because if you do, then they might.
Yeah. I think that for me, where I'm at this point, I think in my life and stage of everything is that I really want quality. I've done a ton of quantity and I'm tired. I want quality when I do my appointments. And what I mean by that, especially when I'm looking at face-to-faces or break breads and thinking specifically about real estate agents, is that there was a time where I was just packing real estate agents in and I would do 3, 4, 5 real estate meetings a day on top of client consultations and calls and everything else. But they were so fast. 30 minutes were in and out and done. And now I'm slowing it down a bit and I'm saying, like, today I have a lunch with somebody right after this, and then I have a longer coffee meeting with a guy that's been in for about a year. And I'm sitting down and we're really getting a lot deeper into the heart of what's their business like and what's their goals for the future and all that. And so it's much deeper relational than just a face-to-face quick consultation to me.
It makes my heart happy to hear you say that. Yeah. So you've had challenges with team members, and I think it's related to what you're talking about.
100%.
The saying that I learned in by referral only, which is where we all met, all the people who started the core, was, are you a taxi driver? Are you a consultant for life? And the taxi driver, it just wears you out. Trying to be that dynamic on that super surfacey, super high volume meetings, but no depth. It kind of eats away at your soul because you're kind of faking it. You're kind of faking who you are every minute of the day. And now we're going to go really deep. You kind of lose track of who you really are. But like my mom told me when I was going to go to my first 7th grade dance and I was so nervous, she said, Jimmy, just be yourself. If they don't like you, screw them. And I'm like, okay, Mom. But it's true, right?
Yeah.
It's true.
I'll say this. I put, for a lot of people that know me who might be listening to this, one thing that I've always done is I've always put, a goal in front of myself and then I chase the goal. And it's like I'm willing to lose relationships and burn people along the way as long as I hit the end goal. And that's cost me a lot. Like if you're an LO listening to this and your focus is, I want to do all of these units and get these awards and everything else. Like I did the units, I got the awards, and along the way, I was so focused on the units and the awards and the recognition that I lost a lot of really good people along the way. Burned through LPs, I've burned through team members. Like I've lost a lot of realtor partners because I was so focused on the quantity versus the quality of the long-term relationship. And so I've taken out and changed up a lot of my verbiage and how I do things because I want the quality relationships now at this point.
They're going to want to know what you changed. So we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
But really, Greatness Tracker is about being active in the pursuit of those relationships. That's what it really is about. So we go face-to-faces, break breads, and then great conversations. It's supposed to be 60. I'm just saying it needs to be more. I stopped counting at 100 each week. I hit 100 every week. I'm 54 years old. I've saved some money. I've done a lot of loans, and I hit 100 every week. If I hit 100 every week, I don't know why anybody breaking into this business thinks that they can do less.
Yeah.
How do you keep so busy? Like what's your strategy for getting your conversations done? Like, what are your tactics? And this kind of gets into the team days a little bit, but share your tactics. Oh, you're smiling.
It's funny. It's funny you bring that up. So right before this podcast started, I was having a conversation with one of my realtors. It's a newer realtor to working with us, and she was telling me this week she's going to some concert on Friday. And I admitted to her that I had no clue who this artist was. And apparently it's a really big named artist. I still can't remember the name now, but it was
some
big named artist. Yeah. You want me to find? I'll find it if you want. But but anyways, it dawned on me that the reason I don't know who these musicians are is because I never listen to music when I'm in my car. I'm driving, if I've got 15, 20 minutes to go somewhere, I'm making 2 or 3 phone calls along the way. I mean, it's, and I'm cranking those out. If I'm headed back somewhere, if I can maximize my calls, I am. And so I don't really listen to a ton of music. I don't get in the car and jam out.
Yeah, stop right there, dude. You hit on something that I do that I don't think people get. So let's say it's Tuesday, right? Or Monday. Like our theme days are Monday, call 40 realtors. Now, I know ain't none of you calling 40 realtors. I'll settle for 20. Have a 40 list, have an A and a B. Call the A's on one Monday, the B's on the next. Rotate through. They'll get 2 phone calls a month from you. That's not slippery or cheesy. It's not. But if I talk to them, if I do my call 20 realtors today, and then one of them's like, hey, send me that rent versus own thing or whatever. Like maybe I have this sheet I did for rent versus own and why buy now, and I send it out to all the next level coaching students. If you're listening to this, print that stupid thing out, take it with you to realtor meetings, go over it with them, educate them on that, and let them know you do it with all the clients, and they will send you more leads. I promise they will send you more leads. So then I send it to her by email, and then on the way home, I put it in my calendar to pop up and call her at 5:30, and I call her again, make sure she got it, and see if she had any questions. That's 2 talk-tos. Just by being better at follow-up. When people tell me they can't have 60 conversations, I'm like, you suck at follow-up. If I do Tuesday updates and a listing agent was disappointed about anything, even if I didn't do it wrong, I will call them again before the end of the day. That's 2 conversations. And I'll probably call them 2 more times this week. That's 2 more conversations. It doesn't need to be a bunch of different people. If I talk to an agent who's really good agent, and I talk to him every day of the week, that's smart. That's not stupid, and that's not lazy. People don't get that. So that's good that one of your tactics is call while driving. So the way I do that is I have my 40 realtor list laminated in my truck, like right here on the side, and I can pick it up and set it down while I'm driving right here, and I can look through and go, oh, hey Siri, call Tom Phillips. Hey Siri, call Rich Casno. Hey Siri, call Victoria Witham. Hey Siri, call these realtors, and I can chat them up because of that laminated list. I don't have to. It helps me to not just call the same 3 over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Like I'll see one on there and talk to in a while. Wow, and I'll call them.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. I do the old school clipboard with the list and the greatness tracker on it when I go jump in my truck and go for a drive. But laminated in the truck, I mean, it's like
big font, no excuse. Like big font, right? So you can read, like an old man like me, I can read it while I'm driving. Big font, big phone number, big cell phone number. And the 40 realtor list is qualified if you do it right. If you use our form, it says how many sides. So I have on the front is 20 and on the back is 20. So I can make them bigger font. And then I have 3 of them. I have 1 laminated at home, 1 laminated in my truck, 1 laminated at my desk. I learned that a long time ago. You got to do that kind of stuff.
That's smart. Yeah.
Yeah. So the second way of phone calls for me is Tuesday updates. I just think you guys aren't that great at it. Like, it is the best way to pick up new agents. Tell me one of your tactics on Tuesday updates. How do you do them? First of all, do you do them?
I do Tuesday updates, yes.
Cool. So if you're listening to this, don't delegate them. You're not that busy. Call everybody yourself. Okay? Call everybody yourself. You're not that busy. 10 loans a month is a really good loan rep again. And it'll be that way for another year or 2. And then it'll change back to what we're used to. But make them all yourself. So give me your tactic or your style for Tuesday updates.
Well, for me, I call the clients first. I call the clients first and make sure that I'm connecting with them to see if there's anything that's come up or pertinent or whatever. And when you delegate it out to somebody else, and we've got a phenomenal processor, an LB2 on or an LP2 on our team, Eleni, and she's phenomenal. And it doesn't happen often, but sometimes you call the client and the client says, "Hey, I'm confused what Eleni said." And it just gives me an opportunity to step in and say, "Great, let's reconnect and let's go over and let's fix it." And Eleni jumps right in and problem solved. And sometimes they just needed to say it to somebody else, even though she's got it handled 100% of the time.
Had you not called, who would they have said it to?
I don't know.
The realtor.
Yep. Okay. The realtor. Yep. You're
Who
right.
they would send it to.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm not. I was talking to somebody named. I can't remember her name. I think it starts with an E, and they're asking me for stuff. I think I really don't understand. And the realtor will say, "Well, have you talked to Adam?" Well, no, I haven't heard from Adam.
Mm-hmm.
That happens every day.
Yeah.
So if you're out there, you're doing Tuesday updates. I don't mind calling the borrower first, but if you do call the borrower first, as soon as you hang up, who do you got to call?
Buyer's agent.
The buyer's agent, because they're going to call the buyer's agent.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If you have rough news, you might want to call the buyer's agent first and say, "I'm about to call the borrower and tell them this, that, and the other thing. Here's what happened. Here's why. Here's where we're going. Here's how we're going to fix it. I just want to make sure you know in case you talk to them, I'm going to call them next."
Yep.
Because you'll save yourself a little crisis right there.
Totally.
And then last, you call the listing agent.
Last is the listing agent. Yep.
What's your style for getting a meeting from the listing agent? How do you do it? Like really how you do it. Don't like tell me what the scripts say and what you learned from Sigmund or what you learned from me or like how do you really do it? You're a good loan rep.
I'm, in the same way that I had no problem flying down to Sacramento and pursuing you, I don't have any shame or fear around pursuing agents. Like, I don't know why, but my mentality a while back was, if I call this agent and I know that I'm going to ask them for an appointment and they say no, nothing in my life has changed from 5 minutes ago. They already didn't have an appointment with me. So if I ask, they say no, nothing changed. So for me specifically, when it comes to listing agents, I check and ask how we're doing for them. If there's anything that we can improve on moving forward for them, or if there's any tweaks to communication or anything that they'd like to change. I ask them and I qualify them. How long have you been in the business? How'd you get this listing? I usually do that up front. And then as we build rapport over time, I just ask. I go in and I say, "Hey, listen, I got to be honest with you. I've really enjoyed working with you. I've enjoyed the process and the communication. I respect the way that you handle your business. And as somebody who's been in this business for a while, I'd love to meet you and sit down and hear more about what your goals are and how you got to this point in your career and maybe take some pointers away for me in my career." And if it's a good agent, and most of the time I tell them I'll bring a coffee to your office or I'll do something quick and simple. I don't make them commit to some 2-hour lunch. I make them commit to something quick and simple.
Yeah. That's really good. I think for some of the people listening, maybe they're not as bold. I'm bold. I think the same way. I already don't have it.
Yeah.
I already don't have that agent.
Right.
I already don't have them. There's nothing that they can do that will damage me because I already don't have them. And I'm doing a good job.
Yep.
Or I wouldn't ask. I don't think I can get you might, because you're pretty bold. But if you feel like you're not doing a good job, it's pretty hard to ask for the meeting.
Yes.
So one of the things that Tuesday Updates does behind the scenes is it makes you do a better job. Like if you're listening, you got to do your calls because it makes you do a better job. It makes you make the one extra call that you may have blown off because you're not sure if it was necessary. It makes you be better. That's the first thing it does. The second thing it does is it gives you an opportunity to call a warm lead instead of a cold lead. Right? And then the third little trick that I'll give is what I like to do is tell them that my team loves working with them because they are so professional and they keep bugging me because they want me to meet with you to see if I could earn your business. And it works. And it's true because they do bug me. When we get one who's good, they'll be like, "Why don't we work with her more? Why don't we work with him more? Why don't you calling them? Why don't you meet with them?" And I'm like, okay. They wear me out about it. So that one works really, really well. So Tuesday updates are huge. That's Tuesday. Wednesday, what do we do?
Wednesday's pre-approval day.
So Wednesday, we used to be Thursdays. We like to do it on Wednesdays now because it gives us time to take care of some stuff before the weekend if they're going to go make offers. So I know people aren't making these calls at them. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I mean, it really is. I talk to people and they're like, "Oh, I have 110 pre-approvals." No, you don't. No, you don't.
Can I share you through a story about that?
Yes, please.
So the last several months, I've been going through a lot of stuff, like you mentioned before, personal and professional, a lot of changes. So a lot of what I'm talking about today, there's a lot of things I failed at that I'm now revamping and going back to the basics on in my own life right now. And so last week, I spent a bunch of time calling pre-approvals, something I admittedly haven't done in a while. You know,
I want to wring your neck.
Yep, I know. Listen, don't lie to Jim Reed, guys. Listen, I didn't do it for a while, and I'd hit a few if they were active or whatever. But I intentionally sat down and I started making those calls. And I think of the first 5 calls that I made, 2 people had already bought and 2 people were different lenders, and I had no clue. And I just was like, and you talk about a gut, like I said, I'm the king of making mistakes so others don't have to. Trust me on this. Like, you think they're all pre-approved and they're just waiting to find a house and they'll call you when they're ready, and they're not. And I just went through and was just tallying up all the potential miscommission, all the potential, checks that would have been there. A lot of it. So much.
Drives me nuts. Did you
Tens
find
of
out
thousands
why?
of dollars.
Did you find out why they were with another lender or why they didn't use you?
Mm-hmm.
What were the reasons?
Well, some of them, yes. Some of them, some was rate, which admittedly was we didn't do a good enough job. I didn't do a good enough job sitting down and going over rate objections and handling it at their meeting. Some of it was they didn't hear from me, or they would hear from someone on my team. Some of it was another lender came out with a program that, well, we heard about a 2-1 buy down program with this other lender, so we decided to go with them. And
Stop right there.
Yep.
Thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, we tell you to brand things because it gets you more business, and that's how.
Mm-hmm.
Because they think that the competitor has something you don't have. Now we all go, well, we could do that. Well, you didn't tell them, right?
Yep.
The second thing is on rates. You got to start quoting with a seller credit of a couple points if you're not, and you got to be careful. In this highly sensitive interest rate market, my normal style is to quote 0.5% higher than current rates so that they're not surprised if rates go up. And I don't do that anymore because they don't get it that that's not their rate. They don't get it. Right now, they don't get it because it's on the news every night. So I literally will pull up Rocket Mortgage and say, this is the #1 wholesale lender, internet lender, and I can match that for you. Because you were referred by Victoria, I made her a deal for her clients. I will match the website for Rocket Mortgage. And Rocket Mortgage will have a pretty good rate at 2 to 2.5 points. And I'll put 2.5 points on the pre-approval, and I'll put seller paid 2.5 points for Victoria to make the offers. And so now the rate is low because that's all they remember. They don't remember the points. The points are being hopefully paid for by a seller in the offer. And I just want to slow down on that because I've taught this and people aren't doing it, and it works. And it's real. It's what the market is right now. It's not a trick. And then to cover 2-1 buy downs because everybody, especially all the home builders, are pushing them big. So those are 2 big tactics. Like, I'm drawing tactics out of you for these guys while we're doing this.
Can I give you one more?
Yeah, please.
On that? Okay, so I want to take the Rocket Mortgage thing one step further. And I don't remember who I heard this from. It might have been Davey Kammer, but Dave Kammer,
Dave, listen, if you guys don't ask Dave Kammer more questions, he's one of the oldest loan reps we got, longest tenured loan reps we got, and he's still 1 or 2 in the company. He is.
He's a hard guy to try and track down, man. Get him, try and beat him in units.
Yes, he's a beast.
But I got this. I'm pretty sure it could have been from him, but I'm not sure. But one thing I started doing is I would look at a client consultation as someone coming in. Who do they bank with? And let's say it's a credit union. Up here in Spokane, we have Spokane Teachers Credit Union. It's one of our biggest credit unions in town. So if I know that the client banks with STCU, I'm going on STCU and I'm pulling up rates on that credit union right on the website. Now, I may not need it when I talk to the client, but I know they bank at STCU. So I have it tucked in my back pocket in case they say, we're also thinking about our bank or something like that and go, oh, that's really interesting. You brought that up. I happen to look up your bank's interest rates as well. So I'm prepared with Rocket, the bank that they currently use, and I just pull that off the account statements that they have that they're coming in, where their down payment's coming from. And the more prepared I am around the competition, more likely I'm going to get their business, because I'm prepared to show them what other lenders won't show them.
Well, yes, and you're not giving this loan officer a chance to discount.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're looking at their website, and yeah, could the loan officer discount it? Yeah, so could you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So by doing what he just taught you, which is a huge tactic, Rocket Mortgage and their bank on their bank statement and pulling up their website, as long as it makes sense, you got to do it beforehand. I don't do it in front of them first, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As long as it makes sense, because yeah, I saw that you bank with them. I actually pulled them up because one of the reasons I get referred is because I make sure I take care of you the best I can. So I looked at Rocket Mortgage, I looked at them, and they're like, oh, that's refreshing, right? You did something
Right.
for them that now they don't have to do.
Right.
And the truth is, for a little while, you're going to lose some loans to rate.
Mm-hmm.
There are people out there doing loans for net of $1,000, $500,
Mm-hmm.
because they have no choice. But
Yep.
those people are getting out of the business by
Yep.
the minute. I'll give you one tip. It's coming up on the end of the year. What's that mean? What do we all have to do? All licensed people.
CE.
We have to take our CE and renew.
Mm-hmm.
It costs money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you're throwing up donuts and a one loan here and a 0 and a 1 and a 0, and it's time to pay $1,000 for a class and a renewal license, a lot of people simply won't do it.
Yep.
I mean, it's just the truth. And as we grow through time here, you're going to see more and more people out and more companies out. And it just goes to emphasize our job is to not quit,
Mm-hmm.
outlast them, keep getting up, take the beatings, figure out new skills. We just gave you tactics on rate shoppers. We just gave you tactics on filling up greatness tracker. Yes, there's thank you cards. We do a leveraged event for you once a month at Next Level Coaching. We pick Jonas and one of my loan officers, Ryan. They pick a guest speaker, or I'll speak. We help you promote it. We teach you how to use all of our marketing drips to get realtors there. Last time we had 500 realtors on.
Mm-hmm.
So they get on a call and there's 500 other people on it. That's some credibility. And I'm putting good people in front of you. So now you track your leads and you track your deals, and there's your greatness tracker. There's a little more to it, but we're running out of time. I don't want to be respectful. Right now, I want to finish with just a quick thought. Right now, it is easy to get distracted by our personal problems.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, for me, it's been easier to focus on them than it ever has been, so that I can avoid hard work for that day or that hour or that minute. I'm doing it myself. I'm a divorced guy, single dad. I got 2 kids. I got a girlfriend who's got 3 kids. That's complicated, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you that.
Yeah.
And I'm super happy. So don't nobody get me wrong. I am super happy, but it's challenging, and and if I let it, it can occupy too much of my time. I have to learn to be like, hey, from 8 to 6, I'm a loan rep. Before 8 and after 6, I'm a daddy and a boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to think literally just like that.
Mm-hmm.
How do you handle that kind of stuff?
Well, like I said, the last couple of months, I've had a lot going on personally too. And, what I've narrowed it down to, for me, the hardest thing for me in this market, in this environment, with personal stuff going on, everybody's got their own problems. The hardest part for me is just to get going. I think that's the hardest part. Once I get going, I'm okay. Like once I'm dressed, I'm cleaned up, I got deodorant on for the day. I took a shower, like I'm good to go. Like I come to the office. Once I'm here, I'm good. Or like the gym. I mean, there's times, like I live in the Pacific Northwest up here in Spokane. We're 2 hours from the Canadian border. Right now, if I were to show you out the window, I mean, it's cold and wet and rainy and dreary, and all I want to do is go back to bed. So it's like I don't want to go to the gym, and I don't want to come to work, and I want to go lay back in bed. And I find that when I get up in the morning, I get some vitamins in me. I have a nutritious breakfast. You know, I've recently lost 50 pounds because I cut out carbs and sugar, and that was a huge thing for me. My energy levels are better. You know, I'm eating right. Like when I get out of bed in the morning and I get going, I'm good. It's the get going part. Like same thing when you come to the office and you go, I got to call 15, 20, 30 realtors today. That's tough. But once I'm dialing, once I'm 2 or 3 in, and I start with the best ones, I start with my best friends. I call my best friends first and I get the energy going and all of that. And then I get into the rest of them. And once I'm going, I'm good. That's the hard part for me is the get going part. And I think it's the hard part for a lot of people, maybe.
I think that's a really good tactic to go through that personal stuff is just to get going. Like to just do the first hour of your day the same way and get to the office and then just go follow what your calendar says. We were going to do time blocking. I have the sheets. Maybe we'll do it on the next call we do together. But I thought Greatness Tracker just flowed, and I think it's actually what people need to hear. I just got done doing the low producer call. So once a month, anybody who's averaging less than 2 loans a month for the past 3 months. So if they haven't done 6 loans, I did 6 loans last week. It really bothers me to lead that call.
Mm-hmm.
And I have 3 jobs. Mm-hmm. So I get on the call and I'm like, there was this one guy, I can't remember his name at the moment, but I'm like, whoever I see, I'll pick on him. Not pick on him, like literally pick on him.
Right.
I'll talk to him because I don't like lecture mode. I like to interact. I'm like, hey, do you think I'm buying that you guys are working 40, 50 hours a week, 180 to 200 hours a month and closing 0 loans? Like, do you think that I'm believing that? I'm not. There's not one of you who can tell me you are.
No.
So quit. That's what I told them all. Quit.
Yeah.
Before you get fired.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get fired.
Yeah.
You cost money being here at 0. You cost money. You cost money being here at 1.
Mm-hmm.
You break even at around 2. 1 3/4 to 2 1/4. You break even with the company. Benefits, 401k match, IT support, laptops, desks, office space. Just to break even is 2, bro.
Yeah.
If you're not working hard 40, you got to go. So I said, I gave them all an assignment that's related to what you said. It was the same exact thing you just talked about. I'm like, all of you, I'm the vice president. I'm a vice president at Summit Funding. Did you know that? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, do you think I could give you a job and that you have to do it? They're like, yeah. Right. You're right. I can, and you have to do it.
Yes.
So you're getting an email, and so is your boss, that you have to be at work by 8:30 every single day, and Monday through Thursday, you have to be dressed business, and business is shirt, slacks, and a coat, or shirt, slacks, and a tie. And on Friday, you can be business casual. Now, you got some extra wool on today because it's cold up there in the Northwest. So I'm
40 degrees outside. It's very cold. But I do have a collar shirt on.
Okay. Yeah. I prefer a little dressier, but I'm good with it. Yeah. You got your name badge on. It makes me happy. But I'm like, and if you're not there, I'm going to tell them to write you up.
Yeah.
And don't tell me that you're doing realtor pop buys at 8 a.m. because you're not, because they're not there. I'm a loan officer for 27 years. They know real estate offices open at 8. Okay. No. So don't try it. Get out of bed, eat something healthy, do 20 push-ups, do 20 sit-ups, do 20 jumping jacks, get your butt in the truck, get to the office and do your job. And if you just do that, you listen to this CD and follow the Greatness Tracker, and you just make it till March 15th. You just do at least 2 loans or more a month until March 15th. There's going to be the same amount of loans as there is now, but there's going to be less than half as many loan officers. So what's it going to feel like, Adam?
Oh, it's going to feel like a harvest.
It's going to feel like there's more loans, and that's what I'm looking forward to. So I plant that seed for all you guys. So you have something to look forward to because I believe it. I've lived it. And listen, I want to go. This is way longer than we usually do, but I thought you did a great job. I thought you came up with a lot of great tactics. You've become one of my friends and a coach for our company, and you can count on me. And I promise you this, I count on you. I need your help.
Thank you.
I need your focus. I need you to lead by example. I need you to go deeper with your people. I need you to be a better leader, a better manager, and I'll do the same. I'll keep getting better too. That's what we do here. We help we lift each other up. All right, guys, give it up for my man, Adam. Thanks so much, Adam. Go back to work. We'll see you next time, buddy. Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Great job, brother. Excellent, excellent job.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I
We're being recorded here. Hold on. Stop recording.